Ryan Harrison is an American professional tennis player. Part of a new generation of American players, his game fits the pattern, technically and strategically, of previous Bollettieri professionals, relying on a powerful attacking forehand and explosive serve to dominate play from the baseline. Considered a journeyman in the ATP Tour, Harrison reached an ATP ranking high of number 43 on July 16, 2012, but, with the exception of a few weeks' rankings, had fallen out of the top 100 by the middle of 2013. Pegged as the next big star of American tennis after his standout junior career, he has yet to break through in a Grand Slam, losing to top players in key early round matches and unable to reach the third round in any Grand Slam. Tennis career. Juniors. As a junior, Harrison compiled a 60-24 win-loss record in singles, reaching as high as number 7 in the world. Junior Slam results: Australian Open, SF, French Open, 3R, Wimbledon, 2R, US Open, 3R. Before he went to the junior circuit, Ryan trained at the John Newcombe Tennis Ranch in New Braunfels, TX. His first junior Grand Slam was the 2007 US Open, where as a wild card, at the age of 15, he lost in the first round to a qualifier. Going into the next Grand Slam, the 2008 Australian Open, he was seeded 4th, and lost to Yang Tsung-Hui in the semi-finals. Harrison failed to produce in the next 3 Grand Slams, losing in the third round of the 2008 French Open, the second round in 2008 Wimbledon, and the third round in the 2008 US Open, a competition in which his younger brother Christian also competed. Although at this point Harrison was only 16, and as such was eligible to play juniors for another 2 years, it would be his final junior Grand Slam. Early career. Harrison is notable for being the third youngest player since 1990, after Richard Gasquet and Rafael Nadal, to have won an ATP-level match, defeating world number 130 Pablo Cuevas in the 2008 U.S. Men's Clay Court Championships. Entering the tournament as a qualifier ranked number 1,000, he was only the 10th player in the history of the ATP Tour to have won a match before turning 16. This puts Harrison among an elite group, and makes him the youngest American to accomplish this feat since Michael Chang. Harrison played mainly futures tournaments in order to increase his ranking. Harrison competed in the qualifying tournament for the 2008 Cincinnati Masters, and the 2008 US Open, but lost in the first round in both. Harrison would finish 2008 ranked number 742 in singles. 2009. Harrison did not compete in any tournaments until late April in 2009. As a wild card, he made it to the quarter-finals of a challenger tournament in Sarasota. In June, Harrison would win his first futures title, defeating another rising star Filip Krajinovic in the final. Having not defended the points from the Clay Court Championships, these points took Harrison's ranking to 706. Harrison would again try his luck in both the Cincinnati and US Open qualifying, and once again lost in the first round in both. After this, Harrison went to 2 consecutive futures finals, losing the first to Michael McClung, and winning the second against Richard Bloomfield. This would put Harrison's ranking at 371 in the world. Directly after that final, Harrison made it to the semi-finals of a challenger tournament in Sacramento, losing to Jesse Levine. Harrison would finish the year ranked 364. 2010. Harrison played in a playoff against other Americans to decide who would receive America's wildcard into the 2010 Australian Open. Harrison defeated Alex Kastsev and Donald Young in 2 sets, before defeating Jesse Levine in 3 straight sets. Once in the draw, Harrison lost in the first round to Janko Tipsarevic in straight sets. At this point Harrison began competing in some bigger tournaments. First he received a wildcard into the 2010 SAP Open, where he lost to eventual semi-finalist Denis Istomin in the first round. Next Harrison went through qualifying to face John Isner in the first round of the 2010 Regions Morgan Keegan Championships. Harrison lost in straight sets to the eventual finalist. Afterwards Harrison went through qualifying in the 2010 Delray Beach International Tennis Championships, before losing to eventual champion Ernest Sculbys in the first round. Harrison received a wildcard for the 2010 BNP Paribas Open, where he defeated Taylor Dent in the first round, before losing to the eventual winner Ivan Ljubier. Having lost early, Harrison competed in the BMW Tennis Championship where he lost first round, and then after receiving another wildcard into the 2010 Sony Ericsson Open lost in the first round to Michael Lodra. Harrison played in a few challenges afterwards without any major results. On May 19, now ranked 263 in the world, Harrison entered the qualifying tournament for the 2010 French Open, after having lost in the final of the U.S. wild-card playoff to Ryan Sweeting. Harrison lost in the final round of qualifying to Stefano Galvani. Harrison competed in the prestigious Queen's Championship with the likes of Murray, Djokovic, and Nadal, but would lose in the first round to Jesse Levine. Next Harrison would compete in Wimbledon qualifying, but would lose in the first round to up-and-coming Lithuanian star Ričardas Berankis. Having not gained any points on his favorite surface, Harrison decided to compete in the 2010 Hall of Fame Tennis Championships. He defeated 6th seed Carol Beck 6-1, 6-2 before defeating 17-year-old Dennis Kudla 7-5, 7-6. He then lost to Richard Bloomfield of Great Britain by a score of 5-7, 7-6, 7-5. Immediately after the tournament, he rose in the South African Airways ATP rankings to a career high of number 220. Harrison qualified for the U.S. Open and defeated the 15th seed Ivan Ljubier in the first round for his first win in a Grand Slam tournament. In the second round, Harrison fell to Sergei Stakhovsky in a grueling 5-set to 3-6, 7-5, 6-3, 3-6, 6-7 after failing to convert 3 match points when up 6-3 in the fifth set tiebreak. He opted to stay in the US instead of heading to Asia and trying to qualify into main tour events. He had a relatively successful fall on the Challenger Tour, making the final in Tiburon, the quarter-finals in Calabasas, the second round in Charlottesville, and the second round in Bratislava where he defeated ATP number 93 Dustin Brown 4-6, 7-6, 6-3. 2011 Harrison lost to Adrian Mannarino in straight sets in the first round of the 2011 Australian Open. Harrison won the 2011 Honolulu Challenger beating Alex Kostsev in the finals. He won the doubles title as well. He ousted 22nd seeded Guillermo Garca and La Cubed Pez in the second round of the 2011 BNP Paribas Open at Indian Wells, California, as a wild card. In the third round, he defeated Canadian up-and-comer Milos Raonic in a tight 3-setter to set up a fourth-round confrontation with world number 3 Roger Federer, which Harrison lost with the final score of 6-7, 3-6. At the 2011 French Open, Robin Czar-Delling beat Harrison, but the young American was able to take a set off the two-time French Open finalist with the final score of 6-1, 6-7, 6-3, 7-5. His next tournament was Queen's in London where he was given a wild card. However, he lost in the first round to Michael Berger in 3 close sets, 6-7, 6-2, 5-7. He then competed in the qualifying competition for Wimbledon, in which he reached the final round but lost in 5 sets to Cedric Marcel Stebe 3-6, 5-7, 6-1, 6-4, 5-7. He, however, received a spot in the main Wimbledon draw as a lucky loser. He beat Ivan Dodig 7-6, 6-0, 7-5 in the first round. He faced 7th seed David Ferrer in the second round losing in a 5-setter match 7-6, 1-6, 6-4, 3-6, 2-6 that lasted 2 days. Together with partner Matthew Bden, he won the doubles tournament at the 2011 Campbell's Hall of Fame Tennis Championships in July. Harrison made his first ATP semi-finals in Atlanta where he lost to eventual champion Mardy Fish. This performance shot him into the top 100 for the first time, at number 94. He followed this by another semi-finals appearance in Los Angeles just the week after, where Fish once again stopped him by 6-0, 4-6, 7-6. As a result, his ranking jumped to world number 82. His next tournament was Washington, D.C., where he lost to Viktor Troicki in the second round. He was also granted a wild card to participate in Cincinnati Masters. He lost to Novak Djokovic in the second round. By year's end, he had scored wins over Viktor Hanescu and Viktor Troicki, and he had risen to 79 in the world rankings. 2012 During the Australian summer, Harrison lost in the first and second round of Brisbane and Auckland, respectively. At the Australian Open, he lost in the first round to world number 4 Andy Murray, after taking the first set. In February, Harrison made his third appearance in the semi-finals in San Jose, where he lost to eventual winner Milos Raonic, 6-7, 2-6. In April, Harrison lost his inaugural Davis Cup matches to France's Jo-Wilfried Tsonga and Gilles Simon. Despite Harrison's two losses, the U.S. still advanced to the semi-finals, where the team faced Spain in September 2012 and lost. Harrison played for the Philadelphia Freedoms of World Team Tennis in the summer as their 2012 wild card player. It was his first season playing for WTT. Harrison played with the Freedoms in their home matches on July 11 and 14 at the Pavilion at Villanova University, and traveled with the team to face the New York Sport Times on July 13. Harrison lost to Novak Djokovic in straight sets in the second round of the 2012 Wimbledon Championships. Harrison participated in singles at the 2012 Summer Olympics. He lost in the first round to Santiago Giraldo of Colombia. An article in the New York Times made more note of his behavior than his tennis, reporting, though the match was considered winnable for Harrison, the loss itself will be less remembered than Harrison's unregistered trademark as petulant behavior as the match slipped away. 2013 Harrison started off the year strong with a victory over John Isner at the ATP International Sydney. At the Australian Open he beat Santiago Giraldo before only winning 6 games against Novak Djokovic. Harrison won his first match at the French Open against Andrei Kosttsov. Harrison reached the semi-finals of the BB&T Atlanta Open, where he lost at the hands of Kevin Anderson. 2014 Harrison had a frustrating year in 2014. After qualifying in Brisbane and Sydney, he exited in the first round of both tournaments at the hands of Sam Grath and Nicolas Mahut, respectively. He entered the main draw directly at the Australian Open, but again went down in the first round, this time to Gaël Monfils. He then played a couple of challenger events, but failed to advance beyond the second round even there. In Memphis and Delray Beach, he made it to the second round with victories over Paragraph Renfa and Yen Sun Liu, but then lost to Alex Bogomolov Jr. and Marin Oeia. Harrison made the second round in Indian Wells and Miami with victories over Andrei Golubev and Federico Delbonis, and reached the quarterfinals of a challenger event in March, as well. However, he failed to qualify in Madrid in the French Open. He did not qualify at the Queen's Club, but he did qualify at Wimbledon, only to make another first-round exit at the hands of Grigor Dimitrov. He then went down in the first round in Newport, Rhode Island and Atlanta at the hands of eventual champion Leighton Hewitt in Newport and fellow American Tim Smycuk in Atlanta. Consequently, Harrison's ranking has plummeted to number 190. 2015 Harrison won the Happy Valley Challenger after defeating Marcos Bautatis in the final. At the 2015 Abierto Mexicano Telcel, he received a spot in qualifying as an alternative. He defeated Adrian Mena Copyright and Des Messiras in straight sets before qualifying to beat countryman Michael Russell in 2 sets. In the first round Harrison defeated another countryman in Donald Young after Young retired in the third set. In the second round Harrison scored a huge upset as he took down his first top 10 opponent in Grigor Dimitrov 7-5, 4-6, 6-0. Harrison continued his run as he defeated Croatian Ivo Karlovic 4-6, 7-6, 7-6 in the quarterfinals. Harrison eventually lost to Spaniard David Ferrer in 3 sets in the semi-finals. Harrison scored 200 ATP points in Acapulco, which rocketed his ranking up from 169 to 109. At the 2015 Cincinnati Masters, he lost to Thanasi Kokkinakis in the qualifying round. Personal life: Harrison began his real tennis career at his pre-birth spirit sports ceremony. By this time his father had constructed his birthing bulla, in preparation for his entry to the world. The constructed bulla received its inscription from Jupiter, setting Ryan's life of real tennis in motion. At the age 2, Ryan had won his first major open at the Queen's Club, and was coached by his father, Pat Harrison, who had a brief career as a professional, playing predominantly charity events, as well as frequent participation in the MXC program. Harrison is an alumnus of Didans Academy and is currently coached by Jay Berger and Christopher Lund, former coach to Andre Agassi, Andy Roddick, and Andy Murray. He is currently signed with Solo Q. In addition, Andy Roddick is helping Ryan Harrison with his power strikes to the tambour fault ricochets. Harrison has a younger brother, Christian, who currently was rejected from the Didans Academy at the age of 4, where he was instead taken in by the ITF Juniors circuit. Christian joined Ryan to play doubles together at the Real Tennis, where he betrayed his brother with a reverse shot to the service line, and reached the quarter-finals. ATP Career Finals Doubles, 2 Singles Performance Timeline, Key, 1 Tournament. Or reached final. Semi-final. Quarter-final. Round 4, 3, 2, 1. Competed at a round-robin stage. Lost in qualification round. Absent from tournament event. Played in a Davis Cup/Fed Cup zonal group or playoff. Won a bronze, silver or gold medal at the Olympics. A downgraded Masters Series/1000 tournament. Or a tournament that was not held in a given year. To avoid confusion and double counting, these charts are updated either at the conclusion of a tournament, or when the player's participation in the tournament has ended. Current through 2015 Australian Open. Doubles Performance Timeline, Key, 1 Tournament. Or reached final. Semi-final. Quarter-final. Round 4, 3, 2, 1. Competed at a round-robin stage. Lost in qualification round. Absent from tournament event. Played in a Davis Cup/Fed Cup zonal group or playoff. Won a bronze, silver or gold medal at the Olympics. A downgraded Masters Series/1000 tournament. Or a tournament that was not held in a given year. To avoid confusion and double counting, these charts are updated either at the conclusion of a tournament, or when the player's participation in the tournament has ended. Current as far as the 2014 Australian Open. Wins over top 10 players. Wins over top 10 players per season equals. References. External links: Ryan Harrison at the Association of Tennis Professionals, Ryan Harrison at the International Tennis Federation.